yes, one we had celebrated Vyas Puja last time. That was in 2021. Prabhuji had said his wonderful realizations with all of us. Yes, last Saturday we missed because Prabhuji had to travel to Mayapur for some urgent need. But then Prabhuji had committed that yes, will come down and kind of share his thoughts. Because recently also Prabhuji had met Maharaj and had some wonderful interactions. Though Prabhuji doesn't need any introduction, but just for our purification, for our kind of thoughts, just will kind of share some thoughts that yes, His Grace Varada Krishna Prabhuji, he is the South India ISKCON Committee chairman. He is of course.
No, no, not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay.
That term is over. Actually,
Hare
Karnataka
Krishna.
State
Yes,
Divisional
yes.
Council. I
Karnataka state.
served for 2 terms. It's over now. It's over.
Okay, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. And also definitely he is our temple president of our ISKCON Sri Krishna Sri Gandharika Girdhara Mandir and also co-president of our ISKCON Orbits Temple, right? And he has been really connected, maybe some of our devotees who might not have born right before, I think, in 1986. And of course, he was also temple president sometime for ISKCON Calcutta. And of course, he started from our, Rajinagar temple, and the way he has really cultivated so many leaders over the years, and especially, he's very, very merciful to us. Because once we started going to our Narsimha Girdhari Mandir from the day one, and Prabhuji has really showered his causeless blessings, and we kind of serving there, and then Prabhuji requested us to start some programs in Whitefield area, and then just Prabhuji's instruction only and inspiration only, we have started this place, and now it's growing so wonderfully. And not only this place provides this inspiration like KR Puram and Sanjay Nagar and Raichur and so many places. Now some of these places started as some center now, preaching
Thank
center.
you. Thank you. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Shri Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Sarva Vigna Vinashaka Bhaktavatsala Nrsingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev Anantadev Bhaktaraj Kulad Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Shri Balaji Shri Devi Bhudevi Lakshmi Devi Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Mahayagya Ki Jai Jagat Guru Pati Pavan Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Mukam Karoti Machalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sudhir Gopal Prabhu. Very grateful to you for all the kind words you have said. The reason I interrupted you very rudely, I'm very sorry, I apologize for that, is that we have gathered here to appreciate one person, to glorify only one person. That is His Holiness Radhanath Swami. I felt very embarrassed that you're saying something about me. So please don't mind, please don't. We were all gathered here, we're all here to offer our gratitude, offer our appreciation, glorification, and chant and sing about the glories of this amazing Acharya, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. I am fortunate, I consider myself extremely fortunate that I've had the opportunity to have darshan of his lotus feet a few times. I cherish each one of those interactions that I've had with him. Every single interaction, opportunity to meet him has left in my heart. He has left in my heart very fond memories, as a very compassionate, gentle, very loving, very uh, uh, very caring and loving Acharya. That's the impression I've had in every single interaction that I've had with him in the last few years. I haven't had many. Maybe you people are much more fortunate than I am. But somehow Sudhir Gopal Prabhu insisted that I should also speak something about Maharaj. So recently I came across um, a transcript that was shared with me uh, on 7th November 2024. I guess most of you must have been in Mayapur on that day, 7th November 2024, during the Kartik Yatra festival, the annual Yatra of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. This time, if you remember, he was in Sridham Mayapur. So on 7th November 2024, he went up to the Lotus building rooftop and he had a meeting with His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. So very recently, I got a transcript of the meeting that both these great acharyas had. I don't know how many of you have received or seen that. Anybody
No,
seen or anybody has anybody read it?
no, Prabhu.
If you have read, please raise your hands. If you have read, okay, good. Then I'm safe. Then Ashish and Gopi Gana. Did you read it, Mataji?
Yes.
Oh, very nice. Narasimha. Okay, that makes it 2-3.
Yes,
Not
Guruji, I
received the
also read,
transcript.
couldn't raise hand in mobile, but I also read Nishant Hare Krishna.
Oh, very nice. Okay, that makes it 3-4 of you who have read that. So, I mean, I want to talk about it. With the permission of all those who have read it, I just want to. I was deeply touched by, and I was deeply, what can I say? Uh, it was one of those. I mean, to me, it appeared like when two great acharyas meet or two great devotees meet. Imagine Uddhava meets Vidura or something like that. Some two great devotees, extraordinary devotees. Mataji, हमको थोड़ा पानी चाहिए. पानी चाहिए. Okay, one bottle of water. Sorry. Two great acharyas meet, two great, like Vidura meeting Maitreya Muni or Maitreya Muni or Maitreya Muni meeting Vidura or like that. It was an extraordinary event. I must have read it 4-5 times by now. That's because, you know, of course, His Holiness Japataka Maharaj is my guru, but to me, it was such a fascinating interaction to see how these two great acharyas interact with each other, talk to each other. So, what was happening is I don't think they were talking. They were just exchanging love, affection, respect, admiration, appreciation, and in the form of some discussion. But what was the underlying mood was they were genuinely from the core of their hearts. They were deeply appreciative of one another. So that's really struck me. So that I'll share with you all some. माता जी एक बॉटल लेके आओ ना नीचे से पानी का पीने का बॉटल बांट रहे हैं ना यू डोंट माइंड डू यू माइंड गेटिंग इट so so it was like that, and I have a special attraction for the lotus feet of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So for me it was like I just read it and I couldn't believe what I was reading. I thought that actually in the current generation of leaders, so many of us are leaders, but I felt so ashamed, so painfully ashamed that we don't have that level of uh, friendly, affectionate, loving dealings amongst ourselves at the peer level in ISKCON. I mean, both of them are gurus, both of them are acharyas, both of them serving Prabhupada. You could say, in one sense, both of them function in India. So you could say they're they're doing the same thing. So maybe there should be some level of competitive mood between the two of them. Okay, you're also preaching, I'm also preaching. I want to see who's doing better. I mean, that's what we have when I sit with other presidents of I'm painfully aware and ashamed that to me it was this conversation, this whole interaction is a standard model for centuries to come as to how sweet the dealings of leaders, genuine Vaishnava leaders, acharyas are. And so His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj walks into the room and tells Guru Maharaj, I just came here to offer my appreciation and gratitude. And then he says that, Guru Maharaj asks him, so how is it everything? How does everything go? Are you happy? Because in one sense, Guru Maharaj is the host. Radhanath Swami says that, Maharaj says that everything was so perfectly organized. We were overwhelmed by the affection, by the love that the devotees of Mayapur have showered on us. 12,000 of us have come here, and they are the hosts, and we are overwhelmed by the affection they've showed for us. And then he makes it a point to mention, Maharaj, you came, you blessed us with your divine association on 3 days. And Guru Maharaj said, I wanted to come the 4th day also, but the doctors stopped me. By the time in the evening, I developed some fever, and they said, you shouldn't go. I felt very bad that I couldn't come and take your association. Otherwise, I would have come a 4th day also. Then Radhanath Swami very affectionately, respectfully says, I like that story you told about Nityananda. So they talk about that story. Radhanath Swami says how everybody was going after Nityananda for his jewels. They wanted the jewels. Then Guru Maharaj says, yeah, it seemed like they wanted the jewels and they didn't want the mercy of Nityananda, indicating that the mercy of Nityananda is 1 billion times more precious and valuable than the jewels. What do you do with the jewels? You just string them onto your body and they're gone when you die. But imagine you get the mercy of Nityananda. So Guru Maharaj is saying in a very regretful way, he's saying they didn't want the mercy of Nityananda, they wanted the jewels, the dacoits. Then Guru Maharaj talks about one Prabhupada disciple who came. Then there is a conversation. Then how these dacoits get transformed. The chief of that dacoits will come and confess to Nityananda because he tries to steal from him 2 days, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Somehow it doesn't happen. Mystically, it doesn't happen. So on the last day, he comes and confesses to Nityananda, I came here because I wanted to steal the jewels. And you know what? How sinful that thought is that I wanted to steal from you. I should actually go and drown myself in the Ganga and kill myself. I should kill myself for having even that sinful desire to steal from you. And Lord Nityananda will look at that chief of dacoit and then say, just promise me that you won't do such a sinful act again. I'll forgive you. I'll forgive you. So they recollect that story. Radhanath Swami is saying some portion, Guru Maharaj is saying some portion. And then both of them laugh. They say, that was the first dacoit Sankirtan party. How Lord Nityananda made all the dacoits into a Sankirtan party. And then they remember the case of one disciple of Prabhupada, who also was a little part-time thief. He came because Prabhupada watch. And he was very attracted by Rolex. Rolex then now he came only to see watch. So he pretended to be a devotee, and simply by the sweet dealings of Prabhupada, he ended up becoming a devotee. He's passed away recently, sometime this year, I think, a few months back. He passed away. His name is Haridas. In Bombay, he passed away. So both of them very respectfully and admirably recollected that Prabhupada sent this Haridas to run for preaching. steal a Rolex watch. Prabhupada turned him into a devotee and he went to Moscow and he hoodwinked the customs officials and the police there, saying, I am from the Hindi cinema field, Bollywood. Those days, some Bollywood movies were craze. Everybody in Russia used to hum some songs from some, I don't know which Bollywood movie. So he told them, I've come here to explore whether we can make movies here, something like that. He hoodwinked them. He went to Russia. He preached a little bit. I mean, maybe he distributed books. So Radhanath Swami very affectionately said, oh, so we have a dacoit devotee, dacoit Sankirtan devotee in our ISKCON also. Such a sweet, loving exchange they have between the two of them. And then there's something very interesting. So one of the servants of, then they talk about Bangladesh. When they talk about Bangladesh, one of the servants say that Guru Maharaj has been trying for 52 years, non-stop, he has been trying to get some land near something, I don't know, maybe Vrindavan Das Thakura's Samadhi or Narottam Das Thakura's Samadhi, somewhere in Bangladesh. He has been trying. Actually, originally Prabhupada tried to get. And it was under the control of it was under the control of the family priests who come from the descendants of that Acharya. I can't remember. Maybe it was Vrindavan Das Thakura. So in that temple, so Prabhupada proposed to him, that person who was running that mutt, why don't you give this to us? We will develop it for you. Give it to ISKCON. We'll get funds from all over the world and develop it. And he refused to. Then Prabhupada was a little upset and he told him, what is this? I've been asking for so many years. Neither you develop nor give me when I'm saying I'm willing to develop. Why can't you give me? Then Guru Maharaj one time asked Prabhupada, wasn't that an offense? That he doesn't develop, he doesn't even let you do anything there. Isn't that an offense? And Prabhupada says, no, it's not an offense. And Guru Maharaj is puzzled and said, why is it an offense, Srila Prabhupada? And Prabhupada says, see, I didn't order him to give. I asked him whether he could give. And so he refused to give. So hence it's not an offense. I didn't tell him that he should give. If I had told him to give and if he hadn't given, that would have been an offense. And Radhanath Swami acknowledges and says, wow, such a subtle difference. Prabhupada is so intelligently, so much figuring out why, you could say it's a disobedience. I mean, it's when Prabhupada asks a question, it means you're giving them an option. You could say yes or you could say no. But if Prabhupada had ordered saying give it, and if he doesn't give it, it would have been offense. So Radhanath Swami, they say, Radhanath Swami says, wow, such a subtle difference. In other words, appreciating Prabhupada saying how precise it was in analyzing the situation, how precise, how delicately he analyzed. Then they speak about preaching in Bangladesh. This was a very interesting point. It struck me also how, Prabhupada, such an empowered Acharya. It's not possible for him, a human being, to be so correct and perfect all the time. It's not possible at all. You have to get it wrong sometime. Sometime you'll falter. Sometime you'll do something wrong. Sometime you have to. That's law of nature, law of whatever. But Prabhupada got it right all the time, which means he was divinely empowered. He was divinely anointed, empowered Acharya, and both of them are recognizing this. And Radhanath Swami is saying, wow, such a subtle explanation Srila Prabhupada is giving us. So there's a lesson there for both of us, for all of us, saying that what is an offense, what is not an offense, like that. Then they talk about Bangladesh. And then you should see how Radhanath Swami is appreciating Guru Maharaj. I mean, it was such a heart-touching thing to read. They're describing in the early days when Guru Maharaj used to go, when they had the first Rath Yatras there. In one temple, they mentioned the name also. They mentioned the name and they would have Rath Yatra, the first Rath Yatra. And temple was in a Muslim locality. These Muslims would throw stones on the Rath and on the devotees. Bangladesh has always been terrible, has been bad, has been terrible for the Hindus and minorities. I mean, maybe they've become a couple of degrees more now, but they've always been bad. And it said, the devotees, the secretaries say, Guru Maharaj used to hold a thick, big umbrella to protect the deities from the stones that were being thrown. And Guru Maharaj mentions that when I was first allotted Bangladesh, because Bangladesh was a province that none of the other GBCs wanted to take those days. I'm talking about the early 80s, because it was considered the backyard of the world. Small, smelly, Bengalis, poor country. Nobody wanted to take. Guru Maharaj said there were two centers in Bangladesh at that time, and they assigned me. And Guru Maharaj very humbly says, today by the grace of whatever, Krishna Prabhupada, ISKCON has 128 centers in Bangladesh. Then Radhanath Swami says, I don't know how grateful we have to be to you. How grateful you have taken risks for your life. Thousands of times, every time you go to Bangladesh, you've taken risk for your life. You risked your life for Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya. To take the mission of Lord Chaitanya to every doorstep, every house, every town, every heart in Bangladesh. Then Radhanath Swami inquires, so how many devotees do we have here? Umar said, his servant said, maybe 40,000, 50,000 initiated devotees. And what about followers? Umar says it runs into several tens of lakhs with followers. Again, Radhanath Swami says, you have brought into the houses of millions of people the mercy of this parampara. You taught them about Krishna. You introduced them to Lord Chaitanya and Prabhupada. How grateful we should be to you. And then they talk about another place where, from some other place in the Bangladesh area also, they got a salagram by Vrindavan Thakura, which is right now in Mayapur ISKCON. Guru said, if we get a place there, I'll send the salagram back there. The salagram can go back there and we'll worship there. So they talk about how they got that salagram and how very few people devotees know about it. How Jananivas Prabhu recognized the salagram and said, it's a Narasimha salagram. And so originally the salagram was on the Radhamadhav altar. It was shifted to Narasimha deity altar. So that salagram is being worshipped there. Guru Maharaj said, I want to send the salagram back. And then Radhanath Swami breaks and says, I don't want to spend too much time here. I don't want to make you tired. I think I should be going. I just came here like that. Then he says, then he says that, actually, I'll share that one paragraph. You should all read it. Humbly request all of you to read it. What he says, not because he's glorifying my guru. That's not my mood at all. Please don't mistake me. You can see how much love, how much brotherly love, respect they have for one another. How much they're grateful to one another, how gentle and loving and how careful they are in recognizing that sacrifice and devotion. So Radhanath Maharaj speaks a whole paragraph. If you can give me a 1 minute break, I'll read that paragraph for you. You don't mind?
Yes,
I'll just pull it out and I'll read it.
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Just give me a 1 minute break. I'll pull it out. It's there in my mailbox. Yeah. So, Radhanath Swami, I'm reading it, okay? Just hear carefully. Radhanath Swami, I'm reading verbatim, whatever is there. Radhanath Swami, His Holiness Radhanath Swami is saying, I want to thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much for your association. Thank you for giving us the pure culture of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Parampara, for giving us so much faith and enthusiasm to surrender to Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Your words, your example are the foundation for all the devotees in our movement. We are forever grateful to you for that, Maharaj. We are praying and praying and praying with all our hearts for your good health and for your mercy. This is what Radhanath Swami says. Earlier, in another bit of the conversation, Radhanath Swami says that yeah, in an earlier conversation, I mean, little earlier than this, Radhanath Swami Maharaj says that we are 3 days back. Guru Maharaj was saying 3 days back we had Prabhupada's Disappearance Day festival, and I'm sorry I had to miss it. And then Radhanath Swami says, yes, we were all there. Guru Maharaj says, Chandramauli Maharaj, you were there, and I think Chandanivas Prabhu were there. Then Radhanath Swami says that on that day, deep in our heart, we felt that we should, deep in our heart, we felt that we should, how grateful, we realized how grateful we are for all the sacrifices and services you have done to this movement under Srila Prabhupada, like that. Then again, there's another very sweet conversation, one portion of the conversation, where both of them remember the last time they met in Bombay Juhu. And during that, when Guru Maharaj was taken Lord Chaitanya Padukas, he took. So Gopal Krishna Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, Shivaram Swami, Giriraj, not Shivaram, Niranjan Swami, Giriraj Swami, all of them were there, and they did Abhishek of the Padukas of Lord Chaitanya. So Radhanath Swami recollects with a touch of sadness in his voice. He says, that was the last time I had a physical contact, physical meeting with Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. That was the last time I physically met him. With a touch of sadness you can detect in his voice, he's saying, that was the last time I met him. Actually, I've seen a video of that meeting also. It is, I mean, it'll shake your heart to see these two great acharyas interact, Gopal Krishna Maharaj and Radhanath Swami. Radhanath Swami walks into the room and pays a long, lengthy obeisances to the deities of Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, offers prayers there, and slowly walks up to Gopal Krishna Maharaj and offers obeisances to Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Gopal Krishna Maharaj, you can see, so visibly weak. He's barely able to sit straight in the chair. He's all, kind of bent down his body out of weakness. So Radhanath Swami pays obeisances to him, and Gopal Krishna is trying his best to get up and to pay obeisances. Actually, it's a very painful sight to see that. In one sense, painful, one sense, jubilation, because Gopal Krishna, then his servants try to restrain him. Gopal Krishna Maharaj doesn't allow that to happen. He will get up from the chair, bend down, almost touch the floor with his head, and then he struggles to get back. And as soon as he gets up and is placed in the chair, Radhanath Swami goes and gives him a very close, tight embrace. Embraces him. And that was a video of that. But here, when they were talking about Guru Maharaj, you see how much they're very special souls. He remembers that was the last time I met him. I remember Guru Maharaj also said sometime that Gopal Krishna Maharaj, who did so much for me, has left me and gone away. So there's some strange bond. They're not ordinary people at all. They appear like human beings. They're not ordinary. They're specially selected, anointed, empowered, divine, very, very, very mystically empowered divine personalities who just come to give a tight slap for all of us so we wake up and take this Krishna consciousness movement more seriously. I don't think for billions of years to come we'll see people like this easily again. Radhanath Swami gives him a nice, affectionate hug to Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And then on 7th November, he remembers that was the last time I met him. Physically, I met him. Now, that Vyasa Puja thing. So, sorry, Prabhupada's Tirobhav event. So, rather, Guru Maharaj is saying, I don't know, I couldn't come or something. Radhanath Swami says, in other words, he's saying, along with all the feelings that we felt on the day of disappearance of Prabhupada, we also felt so much appreciation for you, what you have achieved and done in this Sridham Mayapur. And then Radhanath Swami gets up and he's trying to go. Actually, he tries to go 3-4 times. Every time he says, I want to go, some other new thread of conversation starts and he stays back. Once it happens, they're talking about Bangladesh. The next time, they talk about the famous Pune Yatra. Guru Maharaj, just when Radhanath Swami says, I have to go, I don't want you to become more tired. And then Radhanath Swami says, I came here to place my head at your lotus feet before I leave. And Guru Maharaj says, I also want to place my head at your lotus feet. I mean, what can we say about these great personalities? So Guru Maharaj also said, I want to place my head on your lotus feet. Then suddenly one of the servants remembers, he says that a few days back, I think the doctor there said, a few days back, Guru Maharaj was talking about the days he spent at the Bhaktivedanta Swami Hospital in Mumbai. And they remember the names of all the doctors who came to visit Guru Maharaj. And they talk about Guru Maharaj's health status. How is his health? Radhanath Swami is so carefully inquiring. So how is it now? And Guru Maharaj personally shares some details with him. He says, one of my astrologer, I may have a class, I'll talk to you later. One of my astrologer said that this period is not so good for me. They said that I may get readmitted to some hospital. I may have to get admitted. Then Guru Maharaj says that my servants and my doctors have made a hospital room 1 floor below my residence, Lotus Building, 3rd floor. And then Ekanath Gaur Prabhu explains that it's exactly like a hospital room. There's a bed, there's an ICU, there's a dialysis machine, there's all that there. So Guru Maharaj said, so I just got admitted to that room and spent 2 days there to avoid going to the hospital. Everybody laughs because it was said that maybe I'll have to go and join some hospital. So he said, I just went 1 floor below and everybody laughs. And then Guru Maharaj remembers, the servants remember the names of all the doctors who came and they remember the names. Shamlal Prabhu and many others, they came. They had a look at the treatment and they spent some time with Guru Maharaj, like that. Then they talk about the Pune experience. Actually, it was amazing because previously I heard about the Pune incident from Radhanath Maharaj's side. That means I've heard him speak about it. I had also heard Guru Maharaj speak about it. But here is the time when both of them is sitting in the same place and both of them are talking about the same Pune visit in 2008. When Guru Maharaj was struck with the stroke and he was hospitalized in October, sometime I guess it was January or something, that he visited Pune. And both of them are speaking. One's Radhanath Swami, one's this, one servant, one doctor, like that. All of them are sharing details of the same incident. It was such an amazing interaction. So Guru Maharaj said, I was there, I was in the hospital, and then Radhanath Swami says, yeah, I just called you. I called you because uh, just to encourage you, just to make you feel nice. So Radhanath Swami says that I asked you to come for the Pune festival. Then Guru Maharaj said that, and Radhanath Swami says, I never thought you'd take it so seriously. Just to make you feel good, I invited you. Then Guru Maharaj said that uh, next day the doctors came to meet him, and Guru Maharaj told them when they came to check up, and he's still in the ICU, okay? He doesn't have the ventilator though, but he was super critical stage, very critical, just barely recovered consciousness, maybe less than a month after he recovered, because he was in coma for a long time. Then Guru Maharaj, the doctors came, all of them came, and he said, I want to go to Pune. So then the doctors were surprised, said, Pune, ye kahan se aa gaya? What is this Pune? What is this you want to go to Pune? Do you know where you are? Do you know what's your health status like that? Then very gravely, Guru Maharaj replied saying, I got an invitation to attend the Pune festival yesterday. He said, so, yeah, you want to go? Who called you? He says, it's Radhanath Swami. He called me, he spoke to me, and he invited me to come and attend the Pune festival. They were shocked. They said, oh, Maharaj, you cannot go. You're just not, maybe next year, you still have to recover and this and that. They tried all those tricks. Then after some time, or maybe the next day or something, Guru Maharaj repeated this. I want to go to Pune. His Holiness Radhanath Swami invited me. He called and invited me to come to Pune. So when is that festival going to happen? So how do I go there? Like that, he was asking again. And this time again, they said, Maharaj, no, how can you, it's too risky. You can't, it's, I don't know, mate, 150 kilometers or something. How can you go like that? Then, so what? You're not allowing me to go? Then Guru Maharaj placed that trump card. He says, your Guru invited me. What kind of disciples are you? How can you say no? It's your Guru's invitation. What kind of disciple? What have you learned? And they were shocked. They didn't see, they don't know so much about Guru Maharaj, how Guru Maharaj can be so insistent and so persistent. Then they all panicked and called Radhanath Swami that night. And they told Radhanath Swami what's happening. And Radhanath Swami was surprised and shocked. He said, what is this? I just invited him because he would feel good. That's all. I never thought he'll want to come. I just mentioned it, that we're having the Pune Yatra, the Pune festival, and I invited him. And then I didn't know he'll take it so seriously. Then all the doctors panic and they come on the phone and then tell Radhanath Swami that you better uninvite him. I mean, withdraw the invitation. Then Radhanath Swami said, what do you mean uninvite or withdraw the invitation? It's not like the Facebook invite friend and then uninvite him, or, say, it doesn't work like that. I invited him. If I uninvite him or if I withdraw the invitation, then Radhanath Swami said that I'll become a lizard in my next life. I can't do that. Then Radhanath Swami said that he gave an idea. He said, why don't you talk to that big doctor? I don't know what's his name. His name is not mentioned. Why don't you talk to that big doctor? Maybe he will find a way out. Maybe he will tell you what to do. Maybe he will be able to convince Guru Maharaj that he shouldn't be taking this risk and coming this far in this extremely precarious critical health. You have to move out. You'll have to move a hospital emergency ward along with him if he has to come to Pune. So he said, maybe you can talk to him. Maybe Guru Maharaj will listen to him. So that they call the doctor. He comes, he has a look at Guru Maharaj, and then he has a meeting with the doctors, and the doctors are there. Guru Maharaj is there, and the big doctor says, this personality is a preacher. For him, staying in the hospital is like a punishment. It's like prison. He likes to be with people. He likes to talk. He likes to preach. And right now, we should be doing everything that makes him happy. We should be allowing him to do what he wants to do, what he likes to do. And maybe that's the best medicine for him. That's much better than any medicine that we can give him, administer him now. He should actually be teaching. That's what he is born for, like that. He said, he can go. And I was like, they couldn't believe it. They just couldn't believe that the big doctor said yes. And they called Adnan Swami and said, this wouldn't happen. Now you think Guru Maharaj have a chance like that? He said, from next. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, there was an interruption. Okay, fine. So really, no a chance like that. Then the plan happens and this and that. And Guru Maharaj was supposed to take what is it? Ambulance, and they're planning it out, and oxygen cylinders, this one, that one, who will accompany him, who's the nurse, who will this, who's a ventilator, emergency care, identify some hospitals in Pune for emergency, doctors on the call by, everything they're planning. And Guru Maharaj and Radhanath Swami says in this conversation, he says, that was the time I really prayed very hard to Krishna. I prayed so hard to Krishna saying, my Lord, please, I don't know how I ended up inviting him, but please, please, please make this visit very safe. Let him go back healthy, like that. And then Radhanath Swami, and they're again talking. Everybody wants to talk. The servants, the doctors, is Guru Maharaj, Radhanath Swami in that conversation. And Radhanath Swami says, you came, you spoke for such a long time. We were wonderstruck. And Radhanath Swami says, the entire gathering of I don't know how many thousands of people were there. Maybe Sundar Gopal was there at that time, 2009, January or something, Pune festival.
Yes, Prabhu.
He said, everybody had tears in their eyes. Looking at you as the Bhishma Pitamaha of this movement, as the fighter, as the person who can never be defeated, never be, whatever. And then how you returned, I mean, you spoke and then Radhanath Swami ends that whole conversation by saying, after that incident, I'm very careful about whom I invite for which festival. I'm very careful about inviting anybody. So like that, I guess it's a lesson for all future generations of devotees, leaders that will come into ISKCON. This whole interaction may become a standard, what do you call it? Like they say, Harvard case, you know what, case study or something. They will take this conversation, analyze it, understand it, absorb, appreciate, worship people with more, what can I say? Appreciate, glorify, and acknowledge the mercy of the Lord in giving us the opportunity to have darshan of the lotus feet of such great acharyas. I couldn't believe this conversation, the way it was unfolding, and there was so much. So I bow down my head to His Holiness Radhanath Swami for his incomparable contributions to this movement. Incomparable, unique, his sincerity, his genuineness. One time, I mean, his caring attitude, his vision his courage to pursue the vision, his convictions, his unshakable faith in every word that is there in Prabhupada's books, and his efforts to preserve Vaishnava culture, Vaishnava etiquette. I bow down my head millions of times that I consider myself uh, inconceivably, whatever, fortunate that his hands have, he has placed his lotus hand on this most, whatever, head. And I am also placing, I also offer my obeisances to all his wonderful disciples, extraordinarily glorious disciples who are carrying forward the tradition, the legacy, who the purity of His Holiness Radhanath Swami, and my deepest appreciation for all of you also. I honestly, I want to thank you for giving me a chance to share my deep, heartfelt appreciation for His Holiness Radhanath Swami. I'm very grateful to Sudhir Gopal Prabhu for pursuing this. I just dropped a hint. He said, can you send a recorded message or something? I said, no, I can't speak about him in 2 or 3 minutes. I want to speak to my heart's content about when I speak about him. And so I'm grateful to Sudhir Gopal Prabhu and all of you for giving me a chance and for hearing me out. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki jai. Jagat Guru Patit Pavan Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Guru Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I know we're kind of running out of time, but devotees also wanted to hear from you. Like when Maharaj had come during his book launch and you had hosted him in Sesadripuram temple, and recently also you're in GEV. So if you would like to share some nectarian drops from your conversation with Maharaj, Prabhuji, if time permits for you.
No, what should I speak about? The Jagannath Mandir interaction?
Yeah, like what kind of interaction you had and some of the instruction that Maharaj had given for Bangalore devotees.
Well, I can tell you one thing, one incident that happened in the Jagannath Mandir that I will carry the memory of. Oh, I didn't tell you something which is very, very important, extremely important. Radhanath Swami mentions in the course of the discussion about Pune, Guru's visit to Pune, suddenly one of the servants asks, do you remember, Maharaj? This happened, this happened. Maharaj looks back at that devotee or whatever, and then he says, I've never heard such a statement from anybody in my life so far. I've not heard this statement. It just shows his unique personality. Radhanath Swami said, in my heart, I have an altar, and I carry the memory of His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj visit to Pune, his mood and whatever, on that altar in my heart. And then further down in the conversation, some of the servants mention that Guru always talks so appreciatively about you. And they say, Maharaj, we also carry the memory of your love for Guru Maharaj in our heart. We carry that in our heart. It's like, honestly, how can we just have to worship the lotus feet of these people and beg them for mercy. So one instruction that he gave me when I was in Jagannath Mandir, Actually, the early days, I don't know which year he came, 2008 or 9 or something. I don't remember exactly.
2010, Prabhuji.
Okay, 2010. I had taken charge of the Jagannath Mandir in 2000, end of 2008, 2009. So kind of early days, I was struggling. I was, Jagannath Mandir, it was just go down and he went around, he insisted that he would go around the temple, every place, and suddenly vanished. So I had to desperately look for him. Then I found that he was going around the temple, that whole compound. Then he came to my office and I was busy doing, there were so many things happening there. And I stood at my door and then everybody cleared out because they could figure out that he wanted to talk something to me. So he took me out. He held my hand. He took me out, went into the garden because he wanted some quiet place where he wanted to talk to me. He pulled out his chadar that he was wearing and he spread it on the floor, on the ground. Those days we didn't even have tiles or anything there. He just spread it out and said, sit down. I was hesitant. I said, how can I sit on your chadar? He held my hand and pulled me down, saying, sit down. I sat down so reluctantly, and he sat right in front of me. And then he spoke to me about Prabhupada and the temples that he opened. And then he told me that all these, we should never forget that these are people come and they draw conclusions about Prabhupada, ISKCON, his glories, Lord Chaitanya, everything. When they visit the temple and see how nicely it's being maintained, how carefully it's been designed, and how beautifully, carefully, tastefully the temple has been built or maintained or like that. He spoke to me for about 15, 20 minutes and told me, I could understand. He didn't like what he saw in Jagannath Mandir. Nobody liked. None of us liked. It's just one go down. And then he went on and he said that it's the president or the responsibility. Nobody who comes here should think that ISKCON is poor or Prabhupada wanted this. They should think that Prabhupada gave the highest of opulent worship standards for the deities, for the devotees, for like that. Then I profusely apologized to him. I said, Maharaj, I'm ashamed. I feel so terribly guilty. But I've been in charge only for a year or so. And then I told him that I have resistance. Not many people. And then he gave me an example of how he turned around Chaupati, how he brought about the culture change among the devotees in Chaupati. How it was during the early days, how inch by inch, little by little, step by step, he brought about change of culture, thinking, change of manpower, change of, what get new devotees inside. All of that he said. And then he told me that I know it's a challenge. And then he does, sometimes he does this, rubs your head and says, and then he said that I know you'll do better. I know you'll exceed my expectations also. He said that and went away. That's kind of stayed in my heart, how we have to take care of the deities, the temple, the environment, the reception, the quality, everything kind of stayed in my heart for a long time. Not long time, it's always there in my heart. That's why I'm desperately, I try, whether it was Hyderabad when I took charge or Giridhari Mandir, to make it very unique, special, tastefully done. carefully done, tastefully, artistically done. It's at the Supreme Lord's house. And he told me many things. He told me how I have to change my values. I have to change the way I approach people and things. And how I have to be silently determined. We should never give up this vision that we want to do something beautiful for Guru and Krishna. You don't have to go around announcing it, broadcasting it, but silently do it one small step every day. Bring about a transformation. And how he used this example of how he did that in Chopati. I'm very grateful to him. I'm very, very grateful to him. I'm deeply indebted to him. Actually, I've had more interactions with him. Maybe we don't have the time to talk about it. During my retreat days also, I ended up having I met him once, and that's for another day. What happened when I was those retreat days, I accidentally ended up meeting him. And what happened? I mentioned that once or twice. I don't know, maybe Sudhir Gopal must have heard that narration. But maybe some other time we can share that. So thank you very much. Any other question? Then otherwise we can.
Once again, we are very, very grateful, Prabhuji, to you. Like, I know how busy you are with multiple assignments. Still, you reminded us.
Actually, I'm in the midst of a program here in Hyderabad. I just locked myself in a room because I had made a promise that I would give you some time. And then this is so important, so close to my heart to speak about Radhanath Swami. Yesterday I spoke more or less the same thing in the class. Okay. Randy.
Thank you. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
Varanasi Konachira. So anybody else has anything else to say or any comment or anything, then we can close. I don't, maybe you can put it on chat or anything. Anybody else?
Venkat going through Anant Prabhu, any thoughts? Anyone else?
Okay. Krishna Prabhu, Dandak Pranam. We are so grateful to you. You have given us a lot of hints how to improve ourselves and also the environment around us so that, Prabhupada will be happy to see the changes. Personally, as outside, like Jagannath Mandir, that's the thing. I know. And after that, we have invited Maharaj so many times to come to this new Jagannath Mandir, but we have not been successful. You please pray for us so that he can come once and give us some more instructions.
We're all praying that he should come once to Bangalore. Let's see what happens. I've personally gone, met him, invited him. Let's see. Oh, Sudhir Gopal, I'm very grateful to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much once again.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Let's thank Prabhuji by loudly chanting Hari Bol 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari
Bol,
Bol,
Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hari Bol, thank you all for joining our third Vyas Puja program. Hare Krishna.